We're going to start this virtual tour by talking about the history of the center itself. And in order to do that, we have to go back to 1989. In that year, there were 3 children that died here in Travis County, where there were allegations that the system really sort of failed these children. And one in particular was a 2-year-old little boy by the name of Christopher Wohlers. In Christopher's short life, he unfortunately endured a tremendous amount of abuse. His mother's boyfriend had scalded him pretty badly, and that case was had already been indicted when her new boyfriend, who ultimately became her husband, came into Christopher's life. And unfortunately, he was a very violent man. CPS was aware that there were problems in the home, but because of the way the laws were written at the time and because there wasn't any collaboration between CPS and law enforcement, they had the choice of either sending a letter to law enforcement, letting them know about the problems in the home, or picking up the phone and calling them. And sadly, they chose the former, and the day that that letter arrived was the day that Christopher died. If there is anything positive that can come out of the death of a 2-year-old child, there is much that has positively changed systemically to the criminal justice system as a result of Christopher's death. Christopher's grandmother actually worked at Lexus of Austin, which was owned at the time by Maxie and John Roberts. And Maxine and John had a 2-year-old grandson themselves, so Christopher's death really resonated for them. I'm not sure if many of you have met Maxine Roberts, but she is a very extraordinary woman, and she made it her mission to really sort of change the outcomes for these children that were being victimized here in Travis County. So she went down to the district attorney's office, where the victim witness department was being headed by Sandra Martin, who herself had started the CASA program here in Travis County. Now at the same time, the district attorney at the time, Ronnie Earle, had just gone out to a conference out in Huntsville, Alabama, where the district attorney there, a gentleman by the name of Bud Kramer, had just started the first Children's Advocacy Center. And the concept behind this particular model is pretty straightforward. Rather than having these children have to tell their stories over and over and over again, Ronnie used to estimate that these children were telling their stories upwards of 15 times. Instead, why not create a Children's Advocacy Center with a child-friendly environment with the goal of interviewing that children just once and conducting that investigation in a multidisciplinary way. So Ronnie brought the idea of the Children's Advocacy Center back here to Austin, and together with Maxine and Sandra, they formed the initial committee that ultimately resulted in the creation of the Center for Child Protection.